Why has Fiat struggled in relaunching here in America? Well, I think that the easy answers are not fully complete, and I think that actually it's more corporate positioning than anything else, and I don't think their current moves are going to do anything to really fix their problems here. See, Fiat has a reputation, and I don't think that is spread throughout the general population. There's those of us who are of a certain age that Fiats are unreliable. Fix it again, Tony. But they've been gone for decades. And those of us who are old enough, if you look at the demographics, those of us who are old enough to remember Fiat and their perception of being unreliable are few and far between, and certainly the blogosphere is alive with people who talk about it. But I don't think the general population has that sense of what Fiat actually is. Personally, my family had a Fiat. My dad had one, a Spider, from the 70s, and, well, it caught fire. So I have that perception, but I don't think that the younger people that Fiat was trying to appeal to actually have that view. I don't think they think about it that way. The second thing is, I don't know that reliability is that important to most people. Not that it's not important, not that people don't care, but I think the general perception out there is that most cars are just good, right? That if you get a Honda or a Toyota or you buy a Chevy or you buy a Hyundai, it's good. It's going to be okay. And you've got a warranty to protect you. Most of the younger people I've talked to kind of have that general sense unless they consider themselves gearheads. And to emphasize that, I would say, look at Hyundai and some of the struggles they've had in the past 10 years. They've had recalls for engines literally seizing up. They've had nationwide coverage of how easy it is to break into their cars and steal them, with literally gangs out there called the Kia Boys stealing the cars and wrecking them. But yet Hyundai sales seem to be doing just fine. So I think a general sense in the web that a product is bad or unreliable doesn't really take hold unless it's massive. So I don't think that a general sense of older people who remember Fiat and think, well, they're going to break, really is what caused their slow sales. So when we look back at Chrysler merging with Fiat and Fiat coming back to America, I was excited about it. In fact, one of the earliest reviews I ever did of a car was a neighbor down the road here had a Fiat 500 and offered to let me do it. And I was so excited because I believe that in a world here in America of American, German, and Japanese cars, we could use a little Italian flavor in our auto world, right? And I loved it. Now, I will never pretend that the quality of the materials or the general sense of the car was as good as a Honda or a Toyota. A Honda Fit would be a better car. But it was a hoot to drive. It had so much personality, and I absolutely loved it. And so for younger people, it seems like it would be a hit. But it really wasn't. When they came back with a big splashy ad campaign, right? They had Fiats in Italy driving off piers, coming across the Atlantic and driving up onto the beach over here. And when they launched, they had, well, okay sales. Enough to start expanding their lineup. And they brought in, the 500X, and then they brought the Spider. And nothing really stuck. Nothing really sold, right? And eventually they retreated. I would like to say they're down to one model right now, but their website actually says they still sell the 500X. I haven't seen one probably for 2 years, and none of the dealers around me have one. So theoretically, it's still on sale, but not functionally. So they took the 500 away, but they've launched a new one, and they've launched the 500e, which is why I'm doing this video. They're bringing a new electric vehicle here, and it's adorable. I really want to like it. But it's totally mispositioned in the marketplace. It starts at $32,000. One of the upgraded levels is $36,000. And this is an electric vehicle that has 149 miles of range. It's outrageously overpriced for a small, tiny, two-door, essentially two-seat car with a short range. This wouldn't be competitive against Nissan Leaf 10 years ago. But here they are trying to bring it here based on its style. And the interior is much like the previous 500. Painted plastic. It's got style, but it doesn't have that oozing sense of quality you could get with other manufacturers. And that ultimately is why I think they failed here in America. They want to position themselves not as a competitor against Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Chevy. They want to position themselves like Mini. I don't think that's a surprise to many people who follow the automotive industry. We know they want to be considered prestigious, but they're not. They're a mainstream brand. And the 500, when it was released, and the new 500, both award-winning, great sellers in Europe. So they're pricing themselves like Mini. So those young, upwardly mobile professionals who want something fun, maybe want something electric, well, they can go to Fiat and get essentially an economy car with no space, or they could just buy a Mini. And so to me, Fiat's struggle is the positioning by the corporation, by the corporate leadership, to think that they are a prestigious brand and to sell on their style, their Italian heritage, their perception of being special. And it hasn't worked. Jalopnik had a good article this morning, and I went and spot checked this. The Kia Niro is a competitor to the 500e. It's bigger, and it's more expensive. The EV version starts at about $39,000, and the top lines of the 500e start about $36,000, so it is more expensive. But you can get a Niro lease for like $200 less than what you can lease a 500. My local dealership has one Fiat on the lot. Well, it's in transit, if I'm being fair. They offer no lease deal here, but Jalopnik's article said they have a 500e lease deal for $414 a month. So are you going to spend $150 more to lease something with less range that's actually supposed to be the cheaper car? More interestingly, that dealership I looked at, that one 500e they have, they're already offering over $3,700 off, and it's not even on the lot. So Fiat has a problem, and they know they have a problem. And I've struggled with this because I really like them. I really want that sense of Italian flavor. But when it comes to the wallet, when it comes to the payment, why would you buy one? I've struggled with Mini for a long time. I don't actually think they're that great. I don't particularly like them. I think they ride horribly, but they've got style, they've got zoominess to them. And because they're owned by BMW, they have a general sense of quality about them, something that Fiat lacks. And Fiat keeps trying to position themselves there. They keep trying to position their pricing there, but they're just not there. And so here you have a brand new car finally coming here from Europe, and their answer is expensive leases, but even for $30,000, something with 149 miles of range, non-starter in this marketplace. Let me know what you think below. Thanks.